Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Monday Musings, the interactive midweek musing show. It used to be Monday, but it's not. It's actually at midweek now, not at the end of the week, where we give you an opportunity, we give you 3 subjects and we give you an opportunity to react to them subjects as well as ourselves. So look, without further ado, let's get straight into them. But before we do, you've got a chance to win a £250 Amazon voucher. Link is in the description down below and I'll tell you about it at the end of the video, but let's get straight into the subjects. Number 1, Mikel Antonio finally signed a new deal last week. Would he have signed if he was promised significant improvement in the squad? Now I was thinking about this yesterday, and would he have signed? Maybe money's a contributing factor. Well, money definitely is a contributing factor, but he was resisting for a little while. He was resisting the money we was offering him, which, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure what it was. But I thought back to last 2 years ago when Winston Reid's contract was running out, and Reedy was refusing to sign a new deal, and I'm pretty sure around Christmas, January, February time, whatever time he signed the deal, that the board went into him and when they was having these discussions and said, look, Sam's going, we're going to be bringing in this player. So I don't believe he would have signed if he thought we was going down the same route as we did this year, which is signing on the cheap, signing players on the cheap. He was one of our, well, he was our main performer this year, quite rightly so, Hammer of the Year as well, and he makes a huge improvement to the squad. If I was a player, I wouldn't want to sign a contract with a team where I thought I was the only one doing any work and the players around me were sort of inept. You wouldn't want sort of like that blemish on your CV sort of thing. But let's have a look, see what you guys have said. At Jack Laboo 66, probably not, since lack of ambition can be a deciding factor for many players. Wages also a big factor, but he was always going to sign it, in my opinion. The Free Hammer says, I hope so. Whatever he has been promised, Lanzini has to be given the same. I agree with that totally. Get him on a new contract, please. At Rob Herditch, yes, because he's not our usual winger. He's unorthodox and suits our team. Agents ruin contract talks most of the time. PBM 1968, doubling of wages helps, but he thinks he will look good. He thinks he will look to get in the England squad again, thus he must have received some promises. Drew WHUFC, he signed because they are paying him more money. Simple. It's not the deciding factor of every contract, I'm sure. At Lionel Lanzini, by the way, he said we can get Champions League in the next few years. I think that must mean the owners have promised quality signings. Kevin Baxter says, at Kevin Baxter 2, sorry, massive Antonio fan, but contacts are worthless. Clause after clause, agents greed. Pie example, loyalty don't exist, only in nobs. At Josh Keeble says, I'm certain they made Mikel specific promises regarding recruitment in the summer. Let's talk WHU, possibly, but they could promise all they like, doesn't mean they'll deliver. Sure, similar conversations we'll have with Liz Snake. Good point. At Jake Loebman, to be honest, I think Mikel was going to sign regardless. The wage increase is always going to happen, to be fair. At UK Cowboys fan 84, has he been sold the same lies as Pyatt was last summer? I think he would have learned. He was here last summer, so if he was sold lies, I think he would have learned from that. At Adrian SMDC, I don't think so, especially since he was saying what he thinks we require a few weeks back. At Tiger Tommy says, I don't think Antonio is that sort of player. Considering he came up through non-league, surely he's grateful to be playing in the EPL. He can be playing in the EPL with a host of different clubs, I'm sure of that, mate. At Ash Miles, WHUFC, a contract nowadays doesn't mean squat. The fact he signs won't mean he will stay necessarily, it just means he costs the clubs a little bit more. That's a good point as well. I'm going to take a few more on this one. Carlosing 5, must have been told that, but actually improving is up to the board, which I don't see happening. At Wise Words on Food says, like Payet was and there wasn't, a contract means nothing if the board fails to deliver it as they fail continually. And one more I'll take from NI West Ham. I'd say they've told him that, but they've also told Payet, and look what happened there. Thanks very much for getting involved in that one, boys. So number 2, this is something that really irked me last week as well, and we'll talk a little bit through it. The player awards. Why do they have to charge £300 plus for something that should be free? Should it be free for everyone with a season ticket? Now, what I meant by that is I'm not talking about hiring out a massive, great, big, huge hall and cramming 52,000 people there. The player awards was something that was created in the 50s by the Supporters Club, I believe. The Hammer of the Year award as we know it today. And for my mind, it's a celebration by the fans, celebrating the person that they have deemed worthy to be their player of the year, the fans' player of the year. That's it. We all vote for it. I don't know where it came from, this sort of dinner, but I remember when I was growing up at Upton Park, they used to have it on the pitch. Someone used to come out and get a Hammer of the Year award before the last home game of the season, I believe it is. So where this transformation come, because I remember as far back as Denver Bar. I remember an incident at one of the player awards with Denver Bar when we got relegated. So that was 2011, I believe, 2012, 2010 maybe. I think it was 2011, but it went back as far as that because I remember an incident there where Denver Bar refused to sign an autograph and somebody got a little bit annoyed with that, should I say, and it ended up in a bit of fisticuffs. People have been going to watch that dross all season, and for a player to turn around and say he's not signing an autograph at a place where people have paid so much money, especially after we've gone down, it doesn't sit well. And you've always, when you're charging people so much money to do that sort of thing, you always run that sort of risk. But should they be charging 300 quid? Look, I don't go to the player awards for a specific reason. I think it's an absolute con, to be honest. Premier League, travelling around the country, I go to every single game. I've missed about 4 away games this season. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to travel around the country. And should people that, let's be fair, money doesn't really mean a whole lot to them in terms of, you know, if somebody asks them to pay an extra 300 quid at the end of the season, they can pay it, you know what I mean? And I've heard stories about the drinks bills, like 4 drinks, £50 and all that. You know, for the normal everyday fan, it's not on, is it? You know what I mean? It's not right, you know what I mean? Especially when you've got our season ticket renewals coming up. And it ain't the fact that I can't afford to go. I probably could afford to go. It'd take me a little bit of saving. But I don't do it out of principle because I don't want to go to a Players' Awards and pay that much money to people that don't really need it. I mean, it's a little bit of an ego trip for the you know, for the board that go and the players, whereas they get all suited and booted. Like, if you've got to have that sort of thing, like, this is what look, cut it short, this is what I'd say. Do it on the pitch, right? If you insist on having this sort of after dinner, you know, award ceremony where everyone gets doled up and whatever, why don't you do this? Why don't you take loyal fans that have travelled to every game, you know, fans that have, you know, a fan that's just renewed their season ticket for the 50th year in a row. Why don't you take fans that have done, you know, extraordinary things? Let's take young John Joe Hewerman, for example, who's done extraordinary things for extraordinary people. And it wouldn't hurt in a world full of when you know, when it's full of money, for the club to fork out for the night. Do you know what I mean? If they're charging £300 for a ticket, like £3 for a table, you know, plus tax, whatever, you know, is it going to really make that much difference? If they have 20 tables there, it makes 60 grand, and like 60 grand to us is a lot of money. To them, it's half of someone's wage packet at the end of the day. Why not, you know, invite special fans? Why not do that instead of asking people to pay through their noses? It's once again, it's one of them things where once again, it's not aimed to the likes of you and me who go every day and you know, go and pull on our club shirt and travel up to Burnley in an old Ford Focus. It's aimed at the people that go and sit in the boxes and, you know, and don't come out for the second half because they're having drinks and a meeting with their pal that they've invited from, you know, wherever, you're talking about their latest investment, it's aimed at the corporates again. And like, I know normal fans do go, I know a few fans that did go, and you know, they said it's too much money. It's too much money for £300 plus just to get in, and then you've got a drink on top of that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And once again, it just shows you that they don't think of the normal football fan. Make it free for everybody at least. And if you've got to insist on having this award ceremony, invite people that do special things, you know, special occasions and things like that. Let's go into your comments anyway. Bonzi's God, shouldn't even be an event. The Hammer of the Year is an award from the fans and should be on the pitch on the final day as it used to. Thank you, Bonzi. Luke Lee Malden, it's an expensive evening for any fan. 4 drinks was 50 quid. I had a great time, but the fans would be rewarded more by the club, in my opinion. At Finley Jackson 01, yeah, it should be free for everyone with a season ticket, in my opinion. Pricing fans out of a chance to meet some of their heroes. At PBM 1968, I would not mind paying, say, if it's 100 quid, but if it went to Bobby Moore Fun, I think £300 isn't excessive. But do feel season tickets should get some sort of deal. At Lionel Lanzini, maybe not free, but something like 50 to 75% off for season ticket holders would be much better than like 20, 25, 50% off for members if still spaces for the event. At Jake Loebman, I don't agree that it should be free, honestly. Sorting out 52,000 people would be hassle, but the cost should be lowered. And that's what the stadium's there for, mate. At Stan WHU1, they charge £300 plus because they are greedy and some fans are stupid enough to pay it. At I Harvey Laps, should be done through a ballot for season ticket holders and some Claret members at 100 quid. 300 quid takes the piss. Another way of yet again milking the fans. At Luke Buck, should be free for 1966 seat holders. Osh, come on you irons. Yes, 100%, but if we get a little to no reward for forking out a load of money each season to get a season ticket, we deserve more. Somebody tweeted me a picture of West Ham United Player Awards for £130. Return flight to Rome, 2 nights in a hotel and a ticket to Lazio versus Juventus Cup final is £262.24. Let's put that into perspective. R1 Game says every club does it. It would be nice to make it more accessible though, particularly to kids and young hammers. At least a few tables on the cheap. Why not? They're the people. Let's be honest. Right, sorry to butt in here, but let's be honest, they're the people that should be meeting the players, the kids, the youngsters and people like that who go. They're the people that should be at these dinners. It shouldn't, but maybe it should be. Maybe I'm looking at it all wrong. Maybe it shouldn't be an awards dinner with everyone boozing and drinking and all that. We've seen what trouble it brings. Maybe it should be like a day down the Junior Hammers Club, wherever that is now. I know it used to be a thing, but maybe it should be that instead. Because they're the people that really want to meet the players. I'm not that fussed, to be honest. At least Lou 145, they should make it available to the normal fan. At TFSH_WHUFC, season ticket holders put into hat, drawn out, and free attendance. End of. I'll take a couple more on this. I've got so many. At Laura Emma Hall says that would probably keep the fans in the stadium after the final whistle, and all can get involved after then. It's such a shame. It's that much, and the fact it's before the end of the season, much better idea to hold it during the last home match. At Serif the Bastard says, yes, people who have season tickets should go for a normal reduced price, maybe 100 quid or something. I'm going to take 2 more on this. I'll take 3 more. At Merck Sherburn Brown, where would you stage it? I'm at an event at the Grosvenor House, and that's £250 per ticket. Season ticket should get a discount, but unlikely. Ian L80s, why don't they just go back to the good old days when they did it last game of the season? It's all about money to them and not the fans. I'm going to like that one. Okay, Tyler Metcalf, maybe not free, but cap it at £100. So I think most people agree with me there. Right, number 3. Do you think 4-0 thrashing by Liverpool give the hierarchy the wake-up call we need to really improve the squad? And before I go into it, the first reply I got for this one yesterday was from a guy called at WHU87, sack the board. And he says, like our club who have brought in ex-Arsenal directors since we moved, you now try and copy Arsenal Fan TV's Robbie. You say you don't like all this corporate stuff, but you are now doing it yourself. Make your minds up. Now you are happily making money. You couldn't give a shit about the principles you once stood for. So stick your Monday musings up your fat arse. I'll get into that another day. Anyway, let's get on to your replies to this one. The 4-0 thrashing by Liverpool. Will it give the hierarchy the wake-up call we need to really improve the squad? It's not just that. Let's be honest, it's not just been that this season. There have been too many of them 4-0, 5-0 thrashings, conceding 4 or more goals on about 4 separate occasions that I can think of at home, 3 or more in another 2. It's not good. It's not good. And that is, apart from the Tottenham game, the season itself has been a very drab, you know, a really drab, you know, longed out affair. It's been awful this year. Let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. So if that as a season, not just the 4-0 thrashing, but that as a season, don't give the hierarchy the kick up the arse that they need to go out and actually sign some quality players rather than quantity. They never will. And this summer is big for them. This summer is massive for the hierarchy because this is their last chance. They took the bowling away from West Ham on the promise that we would become a challenger for European spots. Now, I'm not expecting that to happen overnight, but I also do know that after the great season we had last year, when you look at our squad in terms of depth and things like that, it's worse than it was last year. We haven't got the quality we had last year. There's been 13 players shipped in, some of them already shipped out, that just weren't good enough. Weren't good enough. And on top of that, we've lost our best player. We've had a shed load of injuries. I mean, I only had to look at Havard Norvites. I was starting to warm to him as well over the last couple of weeks, but what I saw on Sunday when Coutinho scored I think it was the 3rd, and he's just jogging beside him, and you know, absolutely making no effort whatsoever. If that doesn't get the people in charge of our football club looking at that and thinking these people are just taking the fucking piss out of us, then nothing will. And this is a massive summer for them. They need to make improvements. If they don't make improvements, I can see this going, not only the football club going south and, you know, finishing in a worse position than we will do already, and I don't think that'll be great, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, we've had a lot of injuries this year and things like that and deciding factors like that, but if that doesn't get them motivated to go out and actually improve the squad, then everything's going to go south. There's going to be protests, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. As I said before, I appreciate everything that the board done for us when we was in a lot of trouble. But I don't think their intentions were just West Ham. I think their intentions were getting into this stadium and making a lot of money. But to make money, you got to spend money. That's the old saying. So get us into a decent outfit and give the fans, just give the fans what you promised them in the first place. Give them something to celebrate, you know. You could have, nobody wanted to leave the bowling. You could have softened the blow by buying some real quality, but you didn't. You went out and done stuff on the cheap. You know, I keep on hearing all these stories. Yeah, we spent the 4th most in England on most of it loan fees, which is a waste of money. I don't know why you bother with them. Obviously, it has its benefits when you look at people like Zaza, but people like Zaza, I could have told you at the beginning of the season he weren't good enough to play for West Ham. You know, it just... We also took in a lot of money as well, so I hope they don't forget it. I hope they don't forget what they've done. I hope they don't forget what they promised. And if they don't have a good summer this year, I can see it going very, very badly for them and us in the future. So after that bombshell from WHU87, let's go on to the real comments, the people that actually know what they're talking about. At Lionel Lanzini, they should know by now we really need new, better players. The amount of times we've lost showing no passion and losing by many goals is a joke. At Bonzi's, God, Nothing will increase the proposed budget. They are simple businessmen that only react to financial income. Excuse me, at the Three Hammers. I think we needed it as a win. Would have possibly had the board saying we have enough and they're happy. I think that's what happened in January, boys. At Rob Herditch, not at all. They'll buy maybe one decent player. The rest will be usual, unknown, dodgy ones. At PBM 1968, I hope so, but never know with Gold and Sullivan. Sunday showed through the lack of quality and depth our squad and that highlighted investment is required. At Beacon Tree Hammer, this whole season should have been done. Home spankings like Sunday have happened far too often this season, as we all know. At Jack LeBou says, how many more wake-up calls do they need this season? But overall, yes. Unless they see the loss as due to us having a load of injuries, maybe. At Andy Exile says, 5th time we have conceded 4 or more goals at home in one season. Conceded 3 or more at 13 times. We need wholesale changes. At Jake Loadman says, the wake-up call should have been there from the season as a whole, to be honest. Plenty of areas need improvement. Big summer ahead. They fly so high, _WHUFC. No, they are happy to promise them the world, then scrape the barrel, champagne ideas, brown ale money. At Adrian SMDC, we've had enough thrashings this season. They should have woken up way before Liverpool. Imagine them do their best to improve, though. At Let's Talk WHU, I hope the season as a whole has given the ball a wake-up call. Serious investment clearly is needed. 4 quality players for me, the first 11 needed. I'm going to take 2 more on this because there's loads and loads of replies. At Shit Gaming Channel HD says, we can only hope. We need to spend some big money this summer, otherwise what's the point of moving stadiums? Exactly. At Too Big to Carry, of course not. Look who we signed last season, a mid-table championship side. And one more at Stan WHU1, 0 confidence they'll improve the squad to a degree it needs. Fully expect unknown gambles, loans and freebies at the end of their careers. Thank you very much for getting involved in the debate this week. I'm sorry it's been a bit negative, but I think the season as a whole has been a bit negative. Once again, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. We'll be going up to Burnley for the final game of the Premier League season this Sunday, so watch out for all the videos coming up on that. We'll be carrying on. We had some issues the other day with sound in the Breakfast Club. I do apologise for that. I was very disappointed because we had a lot of debates to get into, but you know, it's one of them things. We'll get it right for the new season, but we will be back this week because I thought it was impromptu last week. The drive up to, where did we go last week? I can't remember now. Stoke. The drive up to Stoke. I thought that was a good impromptu little live show that we've done. So we'll be carrying on with that this week. It'll be me and Ryan going up there this week. But as I said at the beginning of the video, you can win £250 in an Amazon gift card. There's a link in the description down below, and it's a survey. Just take out 5 minutes to do the survey. Answer all the questions. Not one of these rubbish ones. You can actually win £250 in Amazon vouchers if you fill it out for us. It's about the fan channel stuff, what you're watching and all that stuff. So it's not one of them things, you might even think it's a pop-up. Don't think it's a pop-up, but for your chance to win £250 in Amazon vouchers, go down, click the link down below, and one of you are going to win 250 quid. Anyway, thanks very much for watching once again. Don't forget to watch all the stuff coming up. Follow us on Twitter at West Ham Fan TV if you want to get involved in the next week's debate. On Facebook as well, facebook.com/West Ham Fan TV. One thing left to say, lads, come on you irons.